First one, Canelo Triple G. It's in September. As a trainer, what makes this fight interesting? A lot of people are like, not really, but there's a lot. That chapter is not closed. So why is this fight interesting?
Well, look, they had two very close fights. You know, a lot of people thought Triple G won the first fight. Canelo won the second, but it was still very close. So yeah, so it's like a trilogy, you know, like where one, like Triple G could have won the first one, then Canelo wins, so now they have to do a third one, you know. Yeah, maybe people are maybe saying it's a little bit too late, you know, because Triple G's already, I don't know, close to 40 maybe. But Triple G's Triple G, man. He still got the power. Plus, Canelo's last performance wasn't the best of his performances, so people could actually think that's, you know, it's a very winnable fight for Triple G. It's a very good fight. I think it's a fight that's gonna do really good when it comes to numbers. People are gonna tune in. I think it's gonna be a great fight. I think Canelo wins this time a little bit a little more clear, but it's still a very interesting fight.
Is Canelo obligated to have? You know, he said he's gonna win. And for your prediction, do you think he's going to win all 12? Possibly a knockout? I personally think that Canelo will need a knockout just to, you know, close that chapter, not leave it to the judges anymore. Do you believe that? Or
well, you know what? I think it would be that's probably what Canelo is going to aim for, to win by knockout, to make a real statement. But Triple G is solid, man. Triple G is a real deal, so it won't be easy. But I wouldn't be surprised either if Canelo does win by knockout. But it's going to be, I think it's going to be another one of those great fights, very close. But at the end, Canelo could break him down with body shots and maybe stop him at the end.
Can we still see him in the rematch with Bivol and possibly revenge his loss? Moving forward, provided that he wins against Triple G, could we see that fight? Would you be interested in watching that Bivol fight?
Well, I think Canelo just, probably stay at 168 for a while, but I think Bivol says he wants to get down to 168, so maybe do it at 168. But, you know, in boxing, there's so many things that happen in boxing. You know, people just see the fights and they give their opinion after a decision. You know, and Bivol clearly won. There's no doubt that he won. But there's so many things that happen in boxing when it comes to training camps. You know, a lot of fighters get injured during training camp, and they still fight like that. You know, a lot of fighters get sick before the fight. You know, and you know. Maybe, you know, because it's Canelo and he was pound for pound the best in the world and he's unstoppable, he's unbeatable. People think that he's not human and that he can't get sick or he can't get injured or he can't have personal problems that are gonna affect him in the fight. You know, I just didn't see the Canelo that we're used to seeing. I think it was a total different Canelo. He was standing up, you know, getting up too easy and pulling back, where one thing that he just doesn't do in the fights. So I just think something could have been wrong, you know. And in the rematch, who knows? Maybe Canelo, you know, has what it takes to do better. I just, you know that been around boxing, having fought as a professional fighter. I know there's so many things that happen in boxing, man. You know, you do camps for 2 to 3 months. There's always injuries. There's always, you know, sometimes you get knocked out in sparring and nobody's going to announce it, nobody's going to mention it, and people still fight like that. You know, you get hand injuries, you get sick. You know, COVID is still
lingers in the body,
still around in boxing, and it really, you know, affects. You know, so who knows, man? You know, who knows? Canelo's, you know, he's an athlete and he's a man, you know, of his word, so he still continued that fight. But who knows if, you know, if he was sick before the fight? Nobody knows, man. So, you know, I think in a rematch, I think we'll see a better Canelo.
You know, along with that, you know, I also thought, going back to what you're saying, maybe was it because Canelo was just too active? He had like around 4 fights in a good year, you know. Right. Even going back to the fight that happened here in San Antonio, and then we saw the fight with Yildirim, then we saw the fight with the one in May, Billy Joe Saunders, then we saw Caleb Plant, then we saw him back again here against Bivol. Do you think maybe his body was just like, hey, it was just too much?
You know, even if his mind and you know his team, they feel good and they want to do it, yeah, but his body might not have, you know, might have been affected, you know, because he, you know, fighting too often, and even though he clearly won those fights, but he still did training camps, he still did sparring, he still got hit in sparring, he still did everything, whatever it took to prepare himself for the fight. So that takes a lot out of your body.
Thank you so much for watching this video, and make sure to subscribe for more videos of your favorite fighters over here on Fight Up TV, and give us a follow online as well at Fight Up TV on Twitter and on Instagram. We appreciate it, guys.